Hi and welcome to lesson 6 on how to produce a classic 90s deep house record. Okay, in the previous lesson we finished off the arrangement. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start the mixdown process. Now the thing is with mixdowns is that there's no right way or no wrong way of doing it. Every single track in the world that's been mixed down is totally different. Now I can't really do a mixdown session and give you the exact way of doing it. Now basically I can't sit here and hear what you're doing, because you're going to have a different set of speakers or a different set of headphones if you're using on headphones. The thing is to trust your ears as much as you can. And also, all I'm going to do really is I'm just going to give you an outline of what's required in a mixdown process. Basically, the best way to do it, in terms of a short guideline, is to take the top end out of your kick and your bass as much as you can and raise the bottom end so that those two really pound through the mix. And then things like the hi-hats and the crash and the percussion and your vocals, always try to have the bottom end taken out and as much top end as you can, so that you're freeing up that bottom end space for the bass and the kick, which are the most important parts of the track. So we're going to focus on that really and just do a short guideline mix down session. Okay, basically we've got 17 tracks. Today we're going to focus on just the beats and the bass line. So first thing to do is get to a point of the track where everything is involved. So just for example here. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just click on one and just click loop selection, and then we'll solo the kick. Okay, there's no EQ on that yet, and it's at a default setting. So what we're going to do is just play it a minute. And you can see the spectrum analyzer here, look, where the main body of the track is. One of the best ways of approaching a mixdown for me is trust your ears, really. You know, trust technology also, obviously, but don't let technology take over the feeling of a track as well. Particularly because I come from this 90s sort of background where, you know, there was no such thing as spectrum analyzers and stuff like that available. This sort of track needs to be a kind of a feel track, you know, because it's quite raw anyway. And also one of the things that we need to focus on is leaving a lot of headroom, so that when it comes down to mastering the track, we've got plenty of space to bring out the final track on the master. Because if we make a track and it's all whacked up with loads of compressors and blah blah blah, there's going to be no headroom to master the final wave file. So the best thing to do is always try and leave a load of headroom, and take out a lot of bottom end on stuff. So vocals and things like that, always bring out the top end on them and drop the bottom end as much as you can. The bass and the beats are obviously the thing that we need to focus on with a lot more deepness. So the kick, let's go back to the kick. As long as it's not going in the red, if you find that your track is going in the red, go to your master and stick a, look, you see this track here, look, stick a saturator on it. That usually works. It just takes away so if I take that saturator off and play the whole track like so, see, look, it just brings it down and keeps it out of the red and keeps it out of the roughness. Okay, so back to the kick. What we need to do is put on the organ bass. And all we're trying to achieve with the kick is just to get those bottom frequencies relevant. Without, you know, getting too much top end on there really. We don't want too much top end on the kick at all. There's none on anyway, as you can see from the spectrum analyzer. If you can notice that difference. That's with it on. There's like a roughness in there. But we've taken that out now because we've taken this down a bit. I know there's not a lot coming through there, but it still affects it. So that's that. Okay, then we'll go over to the low hat. EQ on that. And what we need to do with the low hat is just bring out the top end on it. click this one here, that one, and pull that down. So we take the bottom end out of the hat too. It's amazing how much difference a slight bit of top end can make. And now put the percussion on. Take the bottom end, so click this, put this down here, drag this down. And what we need to do is, again with this, is just have the top end, because we don't want any kicks conflicting. But it sounds a little bit too trebly, so just turn it down a bit. That's okay. Then put the snare on. We just want to bring out the snappiness of the snare, but without it sounding too trebly. So kind of a middle sort of range, really. Make sure your levels are just okay. And then your congos. Too much reverb on there. We'll just take the reverb down slightly. But we need a little bit of bottom end because it's, you know, it's got a low congo sound in it, so. It's starting to sound really nice and clear, nice and crisp, and it still keeps the bottom end with the kick thumping through. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to put the organ on. EQ on it. With this being probably practically the main sound of the track, it's the thing that drives it along more than anything, we need to keep the bottom end high as much as we can, but also that it doesn't conflict with the kick. So these are the two main low elements of the track that we've got here. So we just need to tweak it really. I mean, what you're hearing on your speakers are going to be totally different to what I'm doing. I am actually doing this on headphones at the moment, but on your speakers you're going to have a different type of speakers to what I've got, and so forth. So a lot of it's just trial and error. All I'm doing really here is just giving you a guideline on some tips and useful ways of doing mixdowns, because there's no right or wrong way of doing them. Just try to top end as much stuff as you can, like the vocals and stuff, as I say, and the saxophone, and then so that there's no clashing in the bottom end, because there's nothing worse than having a muddy track. Everything sounds muffled, it just sounds dreadful. So let's carry on with the organ and just try and keep the bottom end in without it conflicting with the kick. the crash next then. Let's get a loop the bit where the crash is. Let's go there. And roll off the bottom end. And this top bit. What we've got there is we've got a lot of reverb on that crash, so just take it down a bit. Okay, and the next thing we're going to do is the drum fill. Actually, let's put that in where there is an actual kick. So let's drag that to there, marry it up with the kick. Sounds nice with a bit of top end up. So yeah, there we go. There's a bit of a mix down for you. As I say, it's something that's not quite easy to teach, as opposed to laying a track out and stuff and showing somebody how to arrange a track. It's totally different because the final mix down is something that only you can really decide on whether it sounds good or not. So that's the end of this lesson. Head over to the next lesson where we're going to do the vocals and the synths and the organ sound and the sax. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.